Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, Move 6 of another furry visual novel. Before we start, if you're interested in me playing this game, tell me and I'll give it a point, which will put it up higher on the list of visual novels to play. Oh, that's too bad. So, what is this game? It's Lyre, a game that I'm going to read the synopsis of right now. Boop. It's the first book in the Chronicle of the Emissary series. Emissary? A human ambassador awakens in the northern Kingdom of Lyre, his entourage gone as he's surrounded by strangers. His memory seems to be intact, but something seems amiss. Figuring out the motives proves to be the easiest of challenges thrown his way. Entangled in a game of deception, a royal knight may be the only one he can trust. Help from a mysterious individual will find him as well. But will it be enough? The Secrets of Lyre series. The Secrets of Lyre and the mystery of their world, as we know it, start to unravel once more as a terrible plot and unlikely romance unfolds. Because this is an 18+ game. For gay guys that love furry men. But also, if you want to play this game, then go to their itch.io, where they have words for free. And if you want to support them and or get the news version earlier, Patreon, where it's $1 a month. I think that's pretty much everything. I feel a little bit off when it comes to reading today, I'm not sure why, but, good enough. Let's just set my face. And continue, or start. Default name. Chapter 1. Day 1. I'm crawling out of the rubble. I crush snow between my fingers. Okay, I need to slow this down a bit. It's a dog. Yeah, I don't like fast text speed. The numbness caresses my side as my stomach lays flat on the cold snowfall. I can barely see anything in front of me. I can hear clutter and chaos all around, but it's very faint, like a whisper. I can also hear men shouting in pain. Their groans are muffled by the snow and the wind. I lay my face into my arm and rest. My nose feels like it might fall off. Breathing hurts. My lungs sting with cold air. My mouth tastes like metal, hot metal. Through all of the chaos, and the screams, and the rush of cold wind whistling past my ears, I hear a voice. Is that him? Thank God, it is. Get him out of here, quickly. The pair of paws grab me by the arms, and the movement makes it harder to stay conscious. I slowly succumb to the sleep my body has been yearning for. It feels like I've been awake forever. I've wanted to sleep for so long. In the darkness, I hear another voice. It's muffled, as if someone's speaking to me through a wall. I hardly understand what they're saying. I try asking him to repeat himself, but I'm dragged from my slumber as if someone's thrown a rope around me. What was it? This art style looks kind of familiar, or maybe the wolves. I was kind of thinking it's like that one thing, I can't remember what it was, when the first visual novel was a quick look, it's like To Another World or something. Anyways, I roll over on the bedsheets, feeling the air around me settle on my skin. My eyes open to a thick light pouring through, down above me, hitting the foot of the bed I'm lying in. I hear a distant clatter of metal, along with voices. It feels like cold fall afternoon, and there's a stuffy smell that lingers around me as I see dust particles dancing in the light. My mouth is dry and tastes horrible. It's like I haven't cleaned my teeth in a week. My heart starts to rhythmically beat my chest, picking up the pace with every second. I look down my body and notice that I have thick bandages wrapped around my torso. I reach out with my shaking hand just around my stomach and feel a twinge of pain near the lower half of my gut. My mind is racing with questions. Where am I? And why am I covered in bandages? What happened to me? Why does my head hurt so much? Well, it's been one of those nights of drinking. I bring my hands to my head and feel around. I don't feel any bumps or bandages, and there's no pain on the outside. It seems like I've only been injured down by my waist. I must need water. That's most likely the reason why my head aches. I cautiously sit up from the bed. As I do this, the feeling of the blood rush to my head makes everything go dark for a moment. I shift in the bed and slowly wiggle myself out from underneath the covers. I go to throw my legs over the side of the bed and stumble a bit as I steady myself on the cold floor. I look around the decorated room I'm in. It's cozy, with a nice-sized bed, a desk, and a slightly open glass door where you can see the afternoon light shining down into the floor onto. A few bottles and bowls of medicine are strewn about, laying on the cabinet in front of me. I carefully begin to walk to the door, then a wave of fatigue washes over me. Everything seems to kick in at once as I'm slowly crouching to the ground. I crawl to the floor and lay there for a second, waiting for it to pass. As I lay there, feeling my insides twist around and dance in my body, the door opens. He's a small guy. I met with a creepy figure in a dark green robe, wearing a pointed mask and a hat. They look as if they were on a mission, but stop in the doorway. We're on a mission. I feel their gaze fall on me from behind the dark goggles. Wait, is this Sans? Kind of sounds like the voice from other stuff. Maybe I could put the audio just a bit louder. Do that. Maybe that. These quick looks are also a bit of sounds tests. Ah, you're awake. Good. Yes. He stutters this out with much effort in an odd voice. It's a bit high with posh cadence. Oh dear. Wait here for a moment, please. I'll be right back with help. He prances and stumbles through the doorway, his feathery tail floating behind him. The door swings in slowly, but stops before it can fully close. Wait. The noise that escapes my throat is hoarse and exits my lips with a puff of breath. Thankfully, it doesn't hurt to speak, but it certainly sounds awful. All I can do is lay there as I hear him scuttle off calling someone's name. I swear I can read. He's scurried down the hallway, and his voice is already muffled by his mask he's wearing, so I can't make out the name he's calling out. The squeamish feeling slowly subsides. What an odd fellow. Though, I suppose I'm not far off. I'm the one lying on the ground, half naked and barely able to speak. Just as the cold floor starts to feel nice, I hear muffled voices from outside the door. One of them I recognize as the bird, and the other seems soft, deep, and annoyed. Of course, the minute I leave for a drink, something happens. How long has he been awake? I don't know. He was just lying there on the floor. On the floor? Why? He probably tried to get out of bed. Is he okay? Well, not really. He seems to be in some pain, but that's expected. Or maybe he was just scared of you. What are you getting at? Leaf, I respect you tremendously, but that mask makes you look ridiculous. The bird sputters and lets out some exasperated noises. It's a safety precaution. The other voice just chuckles. I hear footsteps get closer until they're right outside the door. Now, I'm sorry, but I have to just put on this little, information that I know. Those things came about during the Black Plague. Is it Black Death? Well, the Plague. Okay, I kind of made it sound weird. But anyways, because they thought it was like, well, it's smells that makes things bad, so they just covered themselves up and put, like, a big beak on with a whole bunch of smelly stuff in it. And turns out it actually did help them. Not, the big smell, filling a mask with smelly stuff, but it was the fact that they were pretty much covered over so fleas couldn't really get at them. And then I'm not sure how long that lasted afterwards as, a work thing. But, yeah, that's where plague doctors come from. I hear the footsteps get closer until they're right outside the door. With a light knock on the door, it swings open. Wait, did it knock? Okay, might increase the audio for that. Boop. It was just the music in the beginning that was loud. You never catch me wearing one of those. The short, cloaked bird shuffles into the room carrying a bag. Walking behind him is a wolf man. He's very tall, almost having to bend over to walk through the doorway. I assume the doorway was not meant for a man of his stature. He closes the door behind him, gripping the knob gently in his large paw. Okay, sorry for another just tangent. The wolf man has a sword with a wolf's head on it. I feel that's kind of weird because it's like, that would be kind of like having a human face or human head on the end of your thing. Like a skull? I can see that because, it's creepy and cool looking, with just some dude's face. I'm not sure. Anyways. His right eye is scarred, and he has a semi-annoyed expression on his face, contrary to his tail switching left and right. His armor is elegant, yet also bulky, very bulky. Large and white, with fur trimming and metal plate armor. A heavy cape drapes behind him with the blue interior. I see a symbol on the breastplate, which I can recognize as the king's family sigil, a pair of antlers stretching high. He is coated with a dark brown fur, which is very fluffy around the neck. His eyes trail around the room before landing on me. He walks forward and clears his throat. Do you need any help? I nod my head. He stands there awkwardly before walking forward, his padded feet thumping against the smooth floor. The wolf then proceeds to kneel down, his face growing close to mine. We're gonna smooch him. He pauses before hesitantly touching me and then picks me up. I feel his large paws supporting me on the underside of my legs. The wolf lifts me high and then adjusts me in his grip so that I don't fall. His neck fur grazes against my face as he carries me over the bed, lays me down on it, gently reclining me back against one of the large pillows. I mumble out some appreciation. Thank you. He grunts in response. God, Leaf, it's fucking cold in here. At least make him decent and give him a shirt to wear. Are you cold? No, wait, how are you cold? I'm not cold. No, wait, I'm not. But the floor feels like ice. Either way, clothing would mess with the bandages, and fresh air would do him some good. I'm sure that he's fine. I sit up on the bed with some hesitation and open my mouth to speak. I'm sorry, but who are you? The two turn and look at me, and as Leaf makes a motion to speak, the wolf places his paw on his shoulder. My name is Layal Reed. I am the captain of the Royal Guard. He says this with a certain twinge of proudness, his tail swishing slightly. And this is the royal family's physician, Leaf. He nudges Leaf in the side with his paw. Yes, yes. I'm sure we can dispense with the formalities for now. Richter, do you remember anything before the crash? I look down my torso, and the two connect. So that's what happened. What happened? You can't remember? He has a curious look in his face as his eyes stare into mine with extreme intensity, while Leaf scuttles over the bedside table. Kind of. It's all a bit vague. Here, have some water. Leaf walks over to me carrying a small goblet of water. I accept it cautiously, bringing it to my lips and taking a short drink. Slowly, it all starts to come back to me, as if I'd just woken up after a horrible dream. I was on my way to the north to the Kingdom of Lyre as ambassador for the Kingdom of Lyre. It was during the 11th day of travel when it happened. As we were nearing the outskirts of the kingdom, I remember minding my own business when in a small closed-off cart. Suddenly, there's a loud rumbling noise and shouting. I can't really remember much of what happened. Just everything before blacking out. On the mountain pass just outside the city, there was an avalanche. It wiped through most of your small entourage and killed some men. When our rangers came across where it happened, your carts and wagons were almost decimated. You had a piece of splintered wood lodged in your side. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything vital, and you seem to have recovered well over the past 4 days. I wonder... I really should look it up. I'm gonna type it in now. Like, what are vital organs? Because that means there's non-vital organs, right? And I'll just look at that later. Anyways, how's my face? Yeah, enough, I guess. While Leal rants about how the mountain pass is now too dangerous to take anymore, I look down my side and feel the bandages. It's painful, but not enough to cause me to wince. I was out for 4 days? Aside from the occasional stirring in your sleep. I quickly try to shake off the thought of somebody watching me sleep. Even if it is for good intentions, it's not something I'd want. It would have been scary waking up in the middle of the night to a large wolf in the corner watching me sleep. Or it could be a sweet dream. Well, I hope this hasn't cut into anything important. Don't worry, things have been quite slow. There hasn't been much to discuss, as we're still waiting for the ambassador from Dries. He falls silent, at first staring at the window behind me before his eyes fall back down. His tail switches slightly, and after an awkward pause, he speaks again. The king has assigned me to be your personal guard. His statement surprised me. I was not expecting the king to assign me a guard, let alone the captain himself. Sorry, let me do something. I thought I would be completely on my own without my retainers. As I'm thinking this, Leaf moves over to the other side of the room and fiddles with something in his little bag. I'm sure that you will do a fine job, sir. I'll make sure to give my thanks to the king. Lyre grimaces a bit, and his nose twitches. You can just refer to me as Lyle. I give him a slight nod. Okay. This certainly isn't the introduction I'd hoped for. One moment, I'm sitting in my cart, heading to the mountain pass. I'd be received by the king himself. Instead, I wake up in what I assume to be my new chambers, unfortunately having missed everything important for my arrival. Nothing of importance may have happened, but I'm certain more could have been achieved had I been awake. And as kind as these two are, the situation I find myself in is less than preferable. I sigh and shake my head. Well, as long as I wasn't holding anyone up for a terribly long amount of time. My thoughts still dwell on the crash. Haven't really had enough time to settle it, to let it settle. That people, in that people just died. That I almost died. Sorry, sometimes I read well, other times not so much. It's a shame that the avalanche happened, and I'm very thankful that you rangers were able to save my life, and many others. Lyle gives a slight smirk of acknowledgement. Sorry, reading makes me yawn. And I can already tell that he's a bit modest, even if his tail was sweeping the ground. I'm sure you'd be happy to hear that. They'd be happy to hear it. Leaf struts over to me with a small bowl of some weird, mushy substance. It looks familiar, but I haven't had to take that much medicine in my life. Here's something to ease the pain. This is most likely the last time you have to take it, considering you've healed very quickly. I stare down at the bowl in discomfort as Leaf drones on about the unique healing process innate in humans, along with some other stuff I didn't care to focus on. I take the small bowl and drink down the strange mix. It has a thick consistency, and its texture is like eating gritty mud. Not that I've ever done that before. The taste, however, is not as bad as I thought it would be. It has a savory flavor that's very hard to describe. Still, not pleasant enough for me to thoroughly enjoy. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at your bandages and also see how your recovery is coming along. I look down my side and lift the covers a bit. I suppose. Leaf walks around to the other side of the bed and begins awkwardly unwrapping the bandages with his gloved hands. I watch Lyle watching. When I catch Lyle watching from across the room, he quickly averts his gaze. He certainly is expressive, though he tries to hide it. Though it does make me wonder why he stares so much. I need to actually read words. I assume it's because humans are so rare this far north. Leaf finishes unwrapping the bandages, and I finally get a good look at the wound. It looks a bit messy, a dark red color around the skin, and the scar it left behind isn't pretty. It's coming along nicely. He's got to be kidding. Needs more leeches. He takes a damp sponge and begins to lightly dab and rub at it. The wound cleans up well after a minute. Leaf rubs some weird cream on it with a sponge, and then he seems to be done. Lyle is turned around, meekly fidgeting with something on the desk. I'm surprised to see that you're getting better. You should be able to walk without risk of opening the wound. I'm surprised to see that you're getting better. Oh. It's where it's like, oh, you're actually, healing. That's good. Just try and take it slow. Will I be needing a bath? I blurted this out, not realizing how sudden it was. The bird stifles a chuckle and responds. No, I don't believe that will be necessary. I gave you a couple of sponge baths. Lyle here even elected to help with one. He what? Leaf. Leaf lets out a reedy giggle, and Lyle covers his face with his paw. He's very helpful, this one. That's good to hear. Thank you. Leaf seems to be happy to hear that his efforts are appreciated, as I can hear his tail lightly flipping up and down, rhythmically tapping against the ground for a second. Do birds wiggle their tails to happiness? I'm not sure. Give me a sec as well. Yin. I'm always happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else. And with that, he picks up his bag and makes his way to the door before we turn to Lyle. I'll leave the rest to you, Sir Reed. He shuffles through the doorway and closes it behind him with a soft thud. An awkward silence settles over the room. Lyle is clearly uncomfortable with it, so he speaks up. Leaf usually knows what he's talking about. But are you sure you're okay? Nothing else gives you any discomfort? He gives me a look of concern for a moment, but then his eyes dart around the room. Aside from my body feeling sore, after being awake for a bit, I feel better. I feel good enough, I suppose. Just a bit weak. He looks at me with a smile and adjusts himself. Well, if you want to get dressed, your clothes and other things were brought up. He gestures over the corner of the room where I can see my trunks and belongings. Or maybe you'd like to eat something? I'd be pleased to help you with anything you might need. Even though I'm wrapped in bandages around my torso, I still feel underdressed, so I guess putting on some clothes would definitely help. So here's the thing, how do they feed people and give people drink? Like, I guess these days, like, you might have a syringe in your arm. I'm not sure if that gives you, like, food or whatever. Okay, that's another thing I'm gonna have to put on stuff. How do they feed unconscious people? I guess people in a coma? Feeding starts with a passage of some kind of tube and aspiration of the stomach. Well, I'll also have to see how they do it in older days, because, you know, there's, like, things where people were comatose in, like, olden times, but, like, how would they do that? Anyways, I make a motion to rise, but Lyle shoots me a worried look. Maybe I could start with getting you something to wear. Sure, just get me the outfit from that trunk over there, please. I point to the trunk on the left, which has one of my nicer outfits. It was going to be the one I would wear for the king. I'm glad to see that it survived the crash. He makes his way over the pile of trunks. To the pile of trunks? His cape gliding across the floor behind him with each careful step. Lyle looks out of place in this room. Everything looks so small compared to him. He bends down and unlatches the trunk, pausing to look at its contents before proceeding to cautiously sift through it. His ears perk up really high when he finds the outfits. He clumsily stands from his kneeling position and walks over to the side of the bed, carrying the outfit. It's nothing too fancy. I may have some form of noble status, but I don't tend to overplay it. It is, however, the nicest outfit I own that fits the climate. Made from fine silks and velvet, the teal colors pop in the afternoon lights. Tailcoats are not usually my favorite article of clothing to wear, but as I lean towards robes and jackets on most occasions, I was wondering, like, wait, what does it mean lean? Oh, lean. It's safe to say that this outfit is not worn as much as the others. Lyle places the outfit on the bed and takes a step back. Is this the one? He says this with a bit of worry, as if he made the wrong decision. Yes, this is it. I sit up and grab onto the pair of pants. I go to change and realize what's wrong with this. Should I bathe first? Lyle looks at me with a dismissive gaze, then talks. You smell fine to me. I guess someone like him would be the best judge of that. I go to unbutton my trousers, but stop, realizing that he's watching. Do you mind looking the other way? Oh, of course. He quickly turns on his heel, and stands on the other side of the room, staring at the window, the light eclipsing around his dark fur. I take off my trousers and undergarments, putting on a fresh new pair, and then fasten the new slacks. I'm surprised a shower was not warranted. Wait, you guys have showers? I wonder when the first shower was invented. Because usually when you think of, cleaning, it's baths. Then again, I was given a bath or two, was I not? Still facing the window, he speaks to me, his voice bouncing off the glass. There's a hint of embarrassment in his voice. You were. As I secure the last button, I lift my head to speak in his direction. Okay, you're good. Apologies. He turns away from the window quickly, like a soldier being given orders. I reach down for the shirt and bring it up over my head. My arms rise above my head. As my arms rise above my head, I feel a sharp pain in my side and wince. Leo clearly sees this and looks concerned. Maybe I should help. No, it's fine. I just need to... I slide my arms through the sleeves, and my hand pops through the collar. The shirt is fitted with buttons, lining several pairs of it. It seems that, over the years, close-fitting garments have become increasingly popular. Close. You mean like a t-shirt? Before I'm able to finish putting on the vest, Lio is walking around the other side of the bed, carrying the tailcoat. He lifts it up, motioning to put it on me. Oh, he looks... I don't know. So embarrassed. Also, I don't know why, but I always like that little line of dark lip on the bottom of furries. Like this part? I don't know why. He drapes the coat over me slowly, with the collar fitting around my neck. I carefully embrace it and start putting it on. So, you're going to be my guard? If you'll have me. He says this with an uncertain look on his face. I guess it wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't it hurt? Come on, be like, oh yeah, that's good. Oh, so look at all that starry stuff. He's horny for human men. I really don't mind it. I don't know if I need the protection, but it's always nice to be prepared. It's also nice to have a guide of sorts to show me around. It's for the best, really. Almost half your men were wiped out in that disaster. The king thought that you could use some extra pawns, and I can show you the castle and escort you around the town. Oop, shoot, I didn't read that. I would like that a lot. Seeing the town would be nice. Though I don't know if I could have the time to make a whole day out of it. That sounds nice. As captain, I'm able to handle most of my duties very quickly, so time shouldn't be an issue. In the mornings, I'm all over the place, but after that, I rarely have much to do unless something arises. The king also thought that you might like to have someone in a high position that you can trust. He says this with a certain proudness in his voice, and a slight smile. I decide to humor him. What makes you think I can trust you? I say that in a joking manner, waiting a reaction from him. He stops moving one of the sleeves of my arm for a moment, then starts again with his mouth twists into an embarrassed smile. Don't worry, I was only joking. Very funny. He grumbles to himself as I fasten the buttons on the front. So, you watched me while I slept? He's taken aback by this statement. I'm your guard. I was stationed outside your room to keep watch. Believe me, it's not something I choose to do. It's not like you're in any danger or anything. You mistake me. That's not what I was worried about. I'm wondering why you were up so late into the night. Do you take both day and night shift? I find it very hard to sleep if I did that. I don't need to sleep all that much. Plus, I feel more awake at night. Because wolves. Also, I'm not 100% sure if that's a thing, do... Because usually when I see stuff, it's like wolves hunt during the day, usually, right? Because, pack animals and stuff. Oh yeah, I've heard some people don't need as much sleep as humans. Maybe 3 to 4 hours within a 24-hour period. That seems terrible. I mean, it's good to have extra hours, but sleep is good. I guess that's good for someone in this position. Though, if I have that much time during the day, I have no idea what to do with it. I definitely get more work done than I usually do. Well, it's fine that you keeping watch. Again, I was only joking. I do enjoy watching this wolf get flustered. You're just full of jokes, aren't you? He shakes his head with a slight sigh, with a laugh, sighing as he looks at the floor. A hangs out of his mouth in a slight way. A hangs out of his mouth in a He shakes his head. I think that's a typo. Like, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure if it's a typo, but then this thing, I have no idea what they're trying to say. So let's check my face. I take this moment of silence to ask about more important matters. Does the current king request my presence? I realize that was a bit foolish of me to dress for an occasion before even considering that I might not even get to meet the king today. I'm just looking forward to finally meeting him. Oh, sorry, I felt like I was going to sneeze. I also want this feeling of being in the dark to go away. I'm not even sure the king knows that you're awake at this moment, but I assume he'll find out shortly. You'll most likely be able to speak with him during supper tomorrow. I think the king is a deer. I know that's another character. That does sound interesting. I definitely wouldn't mind having a nice meal right now. Speaking of supper, I'm starving. Don't worry, that's already taken care of. Leaf would have sent for one of the servants to bring you some food by now. Especially since they won't have to feed you with that weird tube. So wait, they do have tube? Did they seriously have to do that? I feel sick at the thought. Only twice, and don't worry, it's not that bad. That little twerp may be a bit weird at times, but he knows his way around medicine, has been able to achieve things most wouldn't even imagine to be possible. Lyle has an old relationship with the bird. It sounds like he respects him, though. From what I've seen, he seems to know his way around his work, and I trust him. He seems pretty jumpy, though. I wouldn't imagine he's the best at surgery. Unless he had help. Then again, I'm still here. So, how did you find yourself in your position? Well, that came out of nowhere. Think for a moment about what I should say. I don't want to give away too much about myself. But the more I think about it, I realize there isn't much to give away. Well, I was granted nobility in the West, and I'm good at what I do. At least, I'd like to think that I am. Sometimes I feel like others have done all the work for me. Or the work I did was for others and not for myself. Something like that. The look on Lyle's face tells me that was a bit too vague. What? That's it? He has an unsatisfied look on his face, but then he shrugs. I'm sure there's more to it. I'll find out in due time. Well, I'm going to tell you my life story. You better tell me yours, well, if I am. And I'll need a drink. Deal. Wine's over here. Yeah, let's get drunk. We got time. Plenty of it, too. It's not even the 18th hour by the time the sun disappears behind the mountains, and I'm forced to light a few candles. I've taken off my coat, folded it, and sat down in the corner for tomorrow. Rael is reclined on one of the chairs. His paw is kicked up as he tells me about when he was a squire. Of course, most of the time, I just felt like an assistant. His ears twist in the direction of the door. It wasn't always combat training. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. His ears perk up, and he shifts in his chair. I thought I smelled food. Really? Because all I smell is wine. Oh, so I drink couple of bottles. He stumbles getting up, yet comfortably walks over the door confidently. Though he tries to hide it, he's a bit tipsy. I'd be surprised if he didn't trip over his cape. Then again, I don't have much of a clear head either. 'Cause we smooched a bit. He swings open the door and greets the server. Hello. Please, come in. Lyle steps back, and the servant enters, pushing the cart through. They walk under Lyle's arm, like an archway, as he holds the door open for them. The cart is filled to the brim with all different types of foods. So wait, is this the first time we got food? He's like, yeah, the servant went for food, and then we sat here, got drunk, went from day to night, and then we got food? They're slacking. Sorry, give me a sec again. Sorry that there was more than a sec. I might be getting a little sick. That's not good. Some hot, some cold. Roasted duck. Cooked fish. All laid on greens, surrounded by vegetables. Hopefully there aren't ducks. I mean, there was the bird doctor, but then what about the duck? Steam rises off them, like they were just pulled from the fire. There's some bread and cheese, with weird sauce off to the side. On the side tray, there's a fresh bottle of wine that looks to be a piece of mint. With what looks to be a piece of mint. Thank you. I call out the server standing on the doorway. He nods in acknowledgement and leaves. Lyle stands there for a moment before adjusting his cape. Well, I hope you enjoy your meal. He makes to leave the room. Before he can, I speak up. Oh, you're not going to join me? He pauses for a moment and turns to answer. It's very generous of you, but I'll have to go eat in my quarters later. Besides, I have already rated you for your wine. And I have certain things I need to do. I'm sad to see him go, but then again, he also looks a bit conflicted. I don't think I can be alone right now. I need some company after everything that's happened. Oh, come on. I insist. Besides, this is way too much food, even for someone who hasn't had a proper meal in days. Clearly, whoever sent this knew more than one person would partake. He turns away from the door before closing it with a smile on his face. As my lord commands. He walks over to one of the chairs and sits down. I take a nice portion of duck and place it on one side of my plate. The fish looks really good, so I grab some of it as well. Just as I'm about to head back to my seat, there's a piece of parchment folded up and placed in the center of the tray. I pick up the note and read it. Enjoy, R. I pocket the note, and once I'm done, Lyle begins filling up his plate. He takes quite a bit of duck, and most of it is gone by the time he's done placing his food. Plating? And I thought I was taking a lot. He is bigger than me, so it makes sense that he would need more. A glass of wine was enough for me, but for him, he needs a whole bottle. Gripping it with his paw, it was like medicine bottle with how small it looked. He pops into the chair and starts to eat, cutting into the duck with a fork and knife. As he drags the knife through the meat, he continues the story. Anyway, I squired for Lord Bryn up to the age of 19. Then I was made an anointed knight by the king. I've heard most aren't knighted until they're at least 21. And now you're captain? Yes. How old are you now? 22. It do be like that. Wait, do it? You're captain of the guard and you're only 22? I blurred this out, but I end up regretting it when I see his bashful expression. I did not mean to seem so surprised. I'm only just about to turn 20, and I'm already being sent up far away on diplomatic missions, so I guess I have no leg to stand on. But still, to be knighted at such a young age. Believe me, I was as surprised as you are. But the captain usually has the next in line selected in case they die. When Sir Runar died, it was revealed that he had me chosen as his successor. Everyone said he was grooming me for command, but I didn't really expect it to be there so soon. Get there. The king was pleased with this, though, so I didn't question it. He takes a grate, pops it in his mouth, and chews on it with a distant look on his face. Did you not want to be captain? He stops chewing on it for a moment, trying to process the question. It's something that I absolutely wanted, but it just happened so fast. Yeah, I understand. It must be stressful being put in a position like that so fast. Well, I'm sure you're doing a great job at it. I hope so. He takes another drink from his cup, making a loud slurpy noise. I take a bite from my fish. It's the best food I've had in a long time. The fish tastes considerably different from the fish off the coast of Iron, but still so good. Maybe it's because I was so hungry. Or maybe it's the company. Lyle empties his cup and then reaches for the pitcher to pour some more. So, Richard, how old are you? I'm 19. You look a bit older than 19 to me. I cock my eyebrow at him. Not that it's a bad thing. Well, the same can be said for you, Scruffy. I drag my finger across my right eye, hinting at a scar. Guess so. He reaches up and rubs the paw over his eye, chuckling. Though I prefer rugged over scruffy. How'd you get it? If you don't mind me asking. He contemplates it for a moment, then pours more wine. I'll tell you that story someday. And I need a lot more wine than this. He lifts the bottle and sloshes it around slightly. His speech is a bit slurred due to the drunk state he's in. He takes a big drink from his cup and lowers it with a satisfied exhale. It must be an interesting story. That's one way to describe it. It doesn't look recent. Did you get it during training? Again, I'm sorry, but I'd really rather not talk about it right now. I hold up my hands. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry. Sometimes my curiosity gets the better of me, and I ask too many questions. Okay, let me just get that thing too before I forget. You know? Because one thing I like to do is help people who do these things, you know, what's the word? Anyways, I understand. I can do the same thing sometimes, so don't worry. He picks up his empty plate and sits on the tray. I really hope I didn't make him too uncomfortable with that. I'm finishing a piece of bread when I notice his eyes light up. Can I, have this piece of mint? He holds up the little bundle of leaves, just barely pinching it between his claws of his gloves. It would be weird eating food with gloves on. Sure, he can have it. Thank you. He pops a piece into his mouth and chews on it. I finish my plate and place it on the tray as well. I'm feeling really tired now that I have some food in my stomach. Leo senses this and motions towards the door. Thanks for letting me eat with you, but... He gets up from his chair with a grunt and pats the lower part of his breastplate. I should probably get going. and I'm sure they're going to to have a busy day tomorrow. He starts walking towards the door. No need to thank me. You're good company. He smiles and opens the door. For some reason that triggered things like, this door opening? No. There's a guy at the door. Someone at the door. Have a good night, and I'll be guarding the hall for a bit if you need anything. Good night, and thank you. You're welcome. He stumbles through the door and closes it with a thud. I take off my clothes, blow out the candles, and then fall into bed. I've only been awake for a couple of hours, but I feel so tired. My side still feels a bit sore, but it should get better with time. I try to sleep on my stomach, but it causes my side to hurt even more, so lay on my back instead. How do you sleep on your stomach anyways? Lyle and Leaf seem to be very kind, especially Lyle. I'm glad that I was in their care while I was out. The wine gets to me, and I slowly drift into a deep sleep. And I think with us hitting that 51-minute mark and the scene changing, it's a good time to call it, especially since now we're in a different chapter. Whoa. So please comment, guys. I like comments, times you like, dislike, tips, tricks, always. If you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the videos that have grown. Please remember spaying your ammo so I control the pit population. And if you want me to do this series, tell me, and I'll give it a point. We should put it up higher on the list. I still need to figure out how to do it because, like, I think I might have said this on a different quick look or something. Whichever one I choose to move up first gets... I mean, depending, it gets an advantage or disadvantage, so it's like, flip. I can't do this that way. I have to figure out a different way to rank things. But yeah. Oh, and if you want to play this game, it's free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version earlier, Patreon is a way to do it. It's $1 a month? I mean, let me just quickly recheck. Yeah, $1 a month gets early access. So, now that we've done this one, we're going to see what happens next week. Let's see, random number generator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Shoot. Let's just do that minus 2. 21, so that would be 19, I think. Yeah. Shoot. Was that already on 8? Well, let's say if it was on 8. 1, 2. That'd be high C's? Which, can we transition over to that without too much of a fuss? Do. Let's see what this one looks like. Hyena. Okay, so this will be the next week's episode. And yeah, until next time, on another quick look. Me, Game Wolf 6 of for a visual novel. This one. Sorry, I'm looking at this ship and being like, okay, which direction is it going? The sails say away, but I don't see the back, and it looks like it's going directly. I don't know. Sorry. Nitpicking. Thanks and see ya.